Hey guys, how you doing? This is Black Saint. My name's DJ.
Yeah, I'm Justin.
My name's Jermaine, and we're going to show you how we made Could You Love Me.
Boom.
Love me, could you love me? 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 I just got a girl, could you?
Okay, this song's called Could You Love Me. It's a song we did towards the beginning of 2016. A friend of ours, Marcus, flew over from America and wanted to come down to the studio and make a house track in the evening, so we came in one evening, had a couple of drinks and made this track.
Yeah. So basically what happened is that, you know, how we like to work is normally like, well, in this particular occasion with Marcus, like, because we used to live out in LA, and we'd go to the studio and then they'd create a vibe, so they'd like have like, you know, drinks come in and, you know, all sorts of things. So when he came here, he wanted to do the same thing. And obviously I was like, look, man, you know, it's not that kind of party here. He's like, okay, well, let's just go and get some drinks or whatnot, because we were so used to kind of just like working properly, you know. So we went down to Salisbury Road. Off license, yeah. Got some Johnny Walker, some Black Label, and some sweet and sour chili crisps. And then we got to it, and
Sensations.
yeah, sensations. And you know, it really just you know, we like to kind of just vibe it out and get a feel for it. Marcus was doing a lot of singing and I was here, you know, and I basically, you know, started, you know, because the thing is for us, we're very with the kind of house music that we make, we don't like to use the same sort of elements that you'd hear in, you know, like the same sort of packs that you would use for, you know, for kick drums and snares and things like that. You will use the same sort of drums that we use for like hip hop if we were doing like a hip hop tune or an R&B track, and especially with Marcus coming from that world. So I was like, how can we do something where we just
Running through some drum loops and trying to get a vibe off the back of that, putting some patterns together. And then, yeah, Mike coming up with bass. We came up with Bassline, didn't we? I think we
yeah.
the bass line for a minute, so we had the bass and the drums going for a minute.
Yeah.
And we were vibing to that for a good
Yeah.
while. Marcus starts humming melodies and stuff. I think, did we have melody like a synth pattern? And then he jumped in the studio and started doing the vibes. I can't remember.
Now, you know what it was? Can you remember? I sail away. So we had this, like, so basically, we wanted to mix the two genres together of like kind of like trap hip hop, you know, that kind of boom, 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 and like it's around about 124 BPM. So we're like, okay, we can still do a house track and merge the two worlds together and see what that sounds like. As long as we keep the elements of the subs, like and the drums, you know, that could be quite an interesting mix. So we started like so. Let's see. Let me get this sub, man. It's been a minute. So these subs, like, I love these, man. Like, you can't go wrong with a good sub, man. So we kind of, So yeah, I was just basically starting off with something that had a vibe and started with the subs. So we were just like, so, and then we just sing melodies. Marcus just basically started singing melodies to that. I'm not going to tell you this plugin because no one's got this plugin. But it's sick, man. It's got so many of those like American sounding basses, and they sound right out the box. They sound wicked. Google it. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I just used the compressor in Logic because I think it's got a really nice sounding compressor, if I'm being honest. But you know, I'm sounding like I really know what I'm talking about, but I actually don't. For me, I just basically like to, I will mess around with the compressor till it feels good. You know, there's no like real, I'm going to put the attack and the release in this, because I didn't really come from that school of thought. I just was, for me, it was always a vibe thing. So I've taken a little bit of the low end out of the bass as well, because I wanted the kick to be the kind of to have that drive and then not get, phase each other out and get muffled. So yeah, that's. And it also makes it a little bit tighter as well. So yeah, that was the bass. And then we started building the drums. And I will tell you what this plugin is, because it's really cool as well. It's got like lots of drum kits and the thing with plugins, the kits that, unless you're getting packs and stuff like that, but even with a lot of hip hop packs and things, I've always found, like, I've always built up a collection of samples over the years. I used to sample from, like, I used to have an S5000 Akai sampler, and I used to sample from all my favorite hip hop tunes, Timbaland and and Pharrell, and I would sample drums from everything that I liked and try and get that little snippet, and use that, because the drums out there were always a bit thin, and but with this, it's called modern drums, and actually they've got really some really cool sounds. So we've got the verse kick coming from here, which is, and funny enough, there's absolutely nothing on that, because there's a little bit of EQ. I don't know what I've been doing here, mate. Okay. I had to mess around with the EQ to make the bass and the kick go together properly. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's just it's an ear thing. There's nothing else I can say. Right. Yeah. So I just wanted it to be really stripped back and really simple. Not too many like hi-hats and things like that going on, but just like literally just, a bass and like a kick drum, snare, bass, and bring in a couple of synth elements later on. But it's real simple. So we got. And I like to have the snare loud. I've always found that, like, when I used to listen to mixes like the Sonics of American mixes when I was growing up, they always used to have this real punchiness to them, and the snare used to be like bang, like crack in your face. And I've just always kind of kept that. When it comes to doing our mixes and things like that, I'm not like a mix person, but just the feel was always, so the snare always might seem a bit loud, but and I've got a little bit of reverb on there, which I'm guessing will be Space Designer. I've just got like I use a lot of these presets. They're really cool. Let's see, what have I got on here actually. What is this? Oh, it's just the default reverb, which I use a lot, to be honest, because it sounds good, sounds cool. It's just like a hall reverb going through a bus. It's time to change up. Yeah, so basically I'm side chaining. I've got another kick, obviously copying the pattern of the original kick, and that's being side chained to a bus, and I'm bringing that in to the bass here. And again, using the Logic, compressors, I think is really good for side chaining. There's another compressor that I use sometimes for side chaining, which is Native Instruments. This plugin, which I'm not using it now, but I'm gonna shout them out because I think it's a wicked compressor. It's called the Supercharger. Really, really nice, really smooth. And they've got these little settings here the dirt and punch, and it just seems to add a character and a color to basses, especially subs, like getting those subs. Like I normally put it, I'm surprised I don't have it on here, but I normally put my subs through this compressor to give it just gives it this, you know, warmth and clarity. So yeah, but on this occasion, I'm just using the regular compressor to sidechain it out. So we had the drums popping and the bass popping, and Marcus was singing some melodies over there. So I wanted to kind of bring in some kind of elements of like kind of houseier elements, and kind of went through a bunch of sounds, and this particular synth is on Massive. I mean, Massive has got some wicked. I mean, you're gonna know Massive. I mean, to this day, I've been using Massive for years and years with the old like the before they've done this these new controllers. I was using the Core controllers, Core 1, with Massive, and yeah, it just sounds massive. You know, this is a great synthesizer with lots and lots of wicked presets on there. You don't straight out the box that they work with, and I kind of do like to do that. I don't like to kind of fiddle around too much. I'll tweak things if necessary, but I like to just, if you know, a synthesizer that's just got wicked presets, because you can just get on with it and crack on, rather than having to mess around and take away from the kind of creative moment, you know. And yeah, this does the job. So yeah, this sound was like, I wanted like a short synth that could, you know, that could run with those drums, and then this sounded great, and it reminded me of like those synths from kind of got on like an old school like housey feel, like from, you know, Show Me Love and that kind of vibe, you know. And I put a lot of reverb on that again. It's the Space Designer, just the default reverb, ragooperations.com. And hold on, let's see what I've done here. I've panned that right, and I reckon I've panned this one left. No, haven't. So this is a similar sound. This is a similar sound that's being automated alongside that. What have I got? What am I automating? Yeah, so it's the emphasis filter in Massive is basically being automated. They're similar sounds, and I've got one pan to the left and one pan to the right, just to make it a wee bit, give it a little bit of width. So together. So that had a little vibe to it now. So again, not too many elements, real stripped back, real simple. Oh, something in there that I've not told you about yet. Okay. So we kind of had that popping, and we were singing some melodies and ideas around this loop, yeah, and we wanted to basically add some kind of more atmospheric elements to it. And at the time, this plugin had just come out by they're called Signal One, and basically, no, sorry, Output Audio. My goodness, yeah, Output Audio, and at this they had this plugin called Exhale. You know, so when we got it, we were like just going ham on the plugins. But you know, now the thing is, everybody's gotten onto this plugin, so I'm hearing it in so many.
Every track.
Yeah, in everything.
All the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Every top 10 track.
It's crazy.
It's like when people got that unit for the garage days.
The Korg.
Yeah. Was it
No, the
called?
TR rack.
TR
TR rack.
TR.
Yeah.
Every single garage tune was made from that. Same shit again.
Yes. It's like reggae as well. Like,
Yeah.
what's that little
Once I'm
synthesizer that
Oh, the keyboard. that he's
the
on.
Casio, you know,
Yeah.
and what's his name? The guy that's going
I
around.
remember, yeah.
Sick.
He's
Yeah.
killing it, I think.
Yeah. I guess a sound comes from these sort of things,
Yeah.
so you can't really knock it, but
Can't change it.
it's annoying at the same time. So this is it here. Really, really cool plugin, man. So I was just going to town. We had it. So I'm going. What did I do? Where is it? Hold on, I'll just play it to you. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, and it's got a really airy, naturally airy sound to it. So like I wanted to, you know, bring a little bit more of that out. So I use this EQ a lot. I mean, I had the UAD Pool Tech, which I think is incredible, but ever since I've moved to the new Mac Pro, I've had to wait a little minute to get the UAD stuff. But this Waves is equally, you know, equally up there. It's got a really lovely, smooth warmth to it. So yeah, I just boosted the boosted it at 10K and boosted it a little bit. Took a little bit of the low end out, and yeah, just to give it. Because just to basically compensate all the kind of low end stuff that's going on in the track. So that's coming from Exhale. I mean, it's such a wicked plugin. And I also have I use these a lot. The Sound Toys bundle, really. I mean, there's some great little things in there. But I use this Panman for to give it a little bit of movement as well, and I think it works really well. So what next? Right, what's this? So we'll go to where we went from here actually, because once we had that vibe, it was like, well, how do we take that? Where do we take that now? So we wanted to get like a hold on, let's see what we got here.
Give you the world to make you my only girl. Do you believe me?
Mute Marcus. So that's the same synth, just carrying across. Same two synths, Exhale, and the synth from Massive Attack, and just change the part. And this clap, this is like from my 808 kit. My friend Micah, he's a good guy. He's the guy. When I knew him, he didn't. He was like really struggling, and then he ended up producing like flipping. What's his name? Frank Ocean. You know.
Channel Orange.
Yeah, Channel Orange. Lovely guy. And he gave me. He basically was in a studio that was like 2-pack studio, and he had. They sampled all the original 909s and 808 drum machines, and he gave me like a big like pack of all these samples that no one had. So they're really nice, but I mean, you're not going to be able to tell from this clap coming through here. It's just a clap, but you know, like it's a lovely kit, man. It's a lovely kit, but I mean, look at that warmth. I mean, that. I mean, people think we're crazy as producers, but you know, there's something about that clap that I just love.
I love the clap.
I love the clap. I love the clap. It's just so crunchy and so yeah. So again, and I didn't need to put anything on that clap, just to give it a little bit of movement. And well, there's a little bit of reverb on there as well, just the standard setting in Space Designer. So this, and just to kind of transition into the section as well, yeah, there's this, Nexus has a pack called, I think it's like hold on, I can tell you now, giving away all the tricks, here we go. Yeah, well, it's the effects, it's just an effects pack that you can get in Nexus, which is made by, I think, Rex Effects. And yeah, there's in here, there's like whole kits. Oh, hold on, let me put this main mixer up here for you. Let's do that. Yeah, so whole kicks. So I've got that coming in. Nice. Just for a little bit of atmosphere. And you know, a little fill going into. And because of the kind of hip hop and R&B influences that we have, I didn't really want it to be too like housey, too like Ibiza, like big build-ups, and where you're automating the filters and, you know, the releases and things like that. I just wanted it to be really simple and just really just like a simple build, but just, you know, with the whole vibe, you know, keep the vibe going, you know. Right, so when we got to that part, we were like, we need to come up with a sick bass line, something that goes with the track that's a little bit, you know, a little bit less trappy, a bit more kind of classic house. And yeah, I have this is like the Black Saint sound. So we tried a few things. Hold on. I mean, and what I would do is I was just playing different like just playing different things until like the guys were like, no, that's the one, you know. So we had that with a little bit of space. So yeah, and as soon as that kind of, that's when everything really started to come together. When we had that bass, you know, it
started flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a different hook at that point before you had the Could You Love Me hook, so that was inspiring verses and
yeah,
direction of song.
Yeah, it was, because what was that tune at the time that was out at the time? House Every Weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, that House Every Weekend tune, I think is David Zowie. I mean, wicked track, man, and I think that did inspire us a little bit in terms of the simplicity of like getting a really cool hook, and you know, finding something that's catchy, that works, but really simple, you know. And at first we thought it was called what, I Sail Away.
Something like that.
I sail away. The melody was there, but we were just trying to figure out how are we going to write around this concept, like sailing away. Like it wasn't quite
Singing that
for time.
Dancing around, because the drink was nice and flowing, but
Yeah.
the vibe was strong in the studio at that point.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. So we got that section. That's when things started coming together, you know, melody-wise, and we had that, and I think it just started singing some, like, it was like a riff that was sung, but that I sung by accident, and then we kind of made it a repeat thing, you know. And then Marcus started singing it. As soon as he started singing it, it just sounded like money, really, you know. And so we had that "Could You Love Me." We came up with "Could You Love Me," and that kind of made everything a lot easier. So they were back there, kind of working on that, and then I was trying to figure out how, you know, where it would go after that. Obviously, changing the drums up a little bit to give them a little bit swing, because obviously we come from the kind of garage scene as well, and we wanted to have the garage elements in what we're doing. You know, it's a big part of our kind of sound, the carnival sound, and garage music. We kind of grew up listening to that. So yeah, but again, we wanted to keep it simple, not too many things going on. So it's the same. Use the same kick and snare. So it's like a you know 808 kick and you know and a clap from that pack that I was talking about earlier on. And at that time, you know, Jermaine was rolling out a lot, and I was here in the studio a lot. But he was going out a lot, you know, and it was like, you know, I wanted to keep it simple, and Jermaine was kind of like, you know, it's got to do. He was trying to explain what it's got to do, you know, and I was like, but it's it's like
technological manner.
Yeah. So I tried a few things, but there's this top hat. I think this came actually from it's called Super Strength Beat. And actually for kind of house music, a lot of the time I will program the hats. But again, just for the creative process, sometimes it's better when you've got loops there. I used to be like a purist and be like totally against all loops, you know. But, you know, I think certainly for the creative process when you're writing, to get the vibe going rather than, you know, fiddling around with
the songwriter sitting down waiting
exactly
to find the right kick and snare.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's best to have that to get that pop and get the vibe going. Because once we are over there doing that, you're in there doing them things anyway.
Exactly.
It comes together nicely, doesn't it?
No, it was good, man. But and it's also that thing. So you're thinking, what they thinking? Do they like it? Is this, you know, is this hi hat a bit too, you know, sharp? And it's like, are they bored? It's just like it's mad. It's a mad environment. This, I tell you, sometimes brutal. So yeah, got that from Logic, and Logic actually has a lot of really, really good loops. So yeah, basically the whole track is I have these MPC presets because you know the MPC used to have a real good swing feel to it, and again my good friend Micah from across the way, he found me the MPC presets that you can upload into Logic, so you can basically have the same quantize grids as you would in the MPC. So yeah, I've got this setting to 60% swung MPC, so everything is swung to that. So you know, trying to get the right kind of top. You know, I was thinking I was going to program it myself, but this actually fit in nicely to that swung groove. So yeah, everything just worked, and it was a wee bit out. It's a wee bit out. It's not tight, but actually I kind of like the raggoness of that. I kind of like it. I don't know. It felt kind of cool. It had a different type of feel rather than it being everything's super locked in. So yeah, so I won't play that yet. So we had the bass popping with the drums, taking it into more with garage with that bass line, and then I basically went back to, because I wanted something like a section where, you know, we could kind of shack out and vibe out after the original drop, and yeah, I just went back to good old Exhale, and when I originally started playing this,
Trumpet, which is actually a voice.
it's a voice in it. Everyone thinks it's the trumpet section, but it's not actually a trumpet. It's let's see, here we go. There it is. You know, and I started like messing around, so I'll just mute this. I was like, nothing was really, but when I, it was like, yeah. And to be honest, can you remember when I first started doing it? You were like, oh no, I don't know about that. It's a bit like Cotton Eye Joe, you know, Cotton Eye Joe. And I was like, mate, no, I think I really love this sound. I think it could work. And I'm glad that we actually went with it, because it's actually it's actually a part that's become a real big part of this song that people seem to really love. So, I mean, there's some really cool things on here. But now everyone's got this, so we probably won't be using this again. But that can, yeah.
That's okay. No, that.
Yeah.
I thought they ripped us off.
I know, that's right. It was a Wretch 32 tune, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
It's the on Jungle Book. Yeah. So that's the problem with using these things, I would say. Whereas I wouldn't, is that it's great because you can get, great sounds right away. But it's one of those things. Yeah, everyone's just got access to it. So if you don't get your track out quickly, then someone else might bring that out, and then you've copied someone. So it's cool. We got lucky that we were able to get our track out, and get this sample in. Because believe you me, someone would have found that sample. Someone probably has found that sample and is screwing at us right now.
Or released it before us. We haven't heard it yet.
Yeah. So we got that. So we put that in. Hold on, let me unmute that. Oh. And the good thing about it is, like, it has all its reverb and everything already on there. It's like, it sounds great right out the box. So, and let's see what we got here. Okay, so this is a synth, just to give it a little bit of some kind of colors. Oh no, this. Oh, okay. So I'm using this. Okay. Wow, I'm really being easy on this track. So the funny thing is, it's always the tracks where you don't, when you don't really think, oh, I've got to be playing this, and I've got to be, where it just comes together. Like I'm just looking, I'm thinking, okay, what was I playing? And I realized that I don't know if you're familiar with the new Complete, the Control S49. They've got so you've got like chords and things like that, where if you're not even a player, you can see. So, and I'm using this on here. I know the track's in E flat, so you can just change change the settings and change the chords, so that what you're playing is going to be in that key, and then just mess around with make it fit the bass. And yeah, that's what I'm doing here actually. Okay. So yeah, really helpful for actually just if you're not a player, and it's a great thing Native Instruments have done, because there's a lot of people who I'm a guitar player, really guitar, bass, drums, and I play keys, I can get by. But sometimes you can get to a point where you need a little bit of inspiration, or you get to a kind of brick wall. And that's why Native Instruments have been thoughtful there, because there's lots of people out there with great ideas, but that can be a restriction, and this is actually a great keyboard and a great interface. So yeah, again, this is what I love to use is the Arturia bundle, and I've been using these for years and years and years, and they just sound great. They're based on the old kind of analog keyboards that you've heard in all kind of iconic electronic music over the years. But they're actually sound very, very close to the original keyboards. And again, there's great presets in there. I think this one, what is this, a bass? So this is called TJ. What? T James? I don't know.
Now looking back into this track, it's like,
Yes, mad, isn't it? It's called the T James bass. I don't know.
That's legit.
It's not something that I normally. It's not my go-to situation there, but you know, it worked. I was trying to find just something that was kind of like warm, not too synthy. You know, I'm trying to make it sound like it was like I meant it. No, but seriously, I was trying to find something that was kind of warm and short. You know, not like too wishy-washy. And yeah, had that kind of warm feel, and I think that's why I went for this bass sound. I wanted it to be a wide as well, that synth to be wide, so I think I've tweaked them a little bit so that they're a little bit different, so that they're not going to phase, and I've panned one left and one right. Let's see, I think, oh gee whiz. I don't know why that sounds like that, man. I have no idea why that sounds like that.
That's why I did well.
It's so raggle. It's not supposed to sound like that. Oh, it's really not supposed to sound like that.
Yeah.
Hold on. Is it this thing? Oh, nah, there's something going on here.
Just move on to the lyrics.
Oh, hold on. Anyway, you get the gist.
And that's how we made it.
But what I was going to explain about that, there's something gone wrong there with that setting. I don't know what's happening, but you know, these things happen. But in the original setting, I copied that channel, changed it a little bit. Obviously, it's gone way over the top there. I don't know why. But what I put, just to make it wide, I used this thing called micro shift, which is like a phase, like a chorus plugin, you know. So it can make your vocals sound really wide and guitars sound really wide, and it's a great plugin. So I've just got the double preset on there and just tweaked with it a little bit here. And also radiator as well, because just to give it a little bit of warmth. Not that I needed to, but I just liked the sound of stuff going through this plugin, radiator. It's a lovely sounding thing. It's a lovely sounding thing. So yeah, where are we at now? Let's see. Yeah, so we kind of had the bones of the track then, and then so what we normally do is, like, when we had the track, it's everything's kind of like melody driven and just kind of mumbling things. But although we kind of had the "Could You Love Me" as a concept, but Marcus, we sung, because we
had a bunch of melodies going on, didn't we?
Yeah.
But nothing really clicked until that moment where he went in there and he was just on a vibe.
Yeah.
Caught that laid back, real relaxed.
That's right.
Energy or flow over the track. Again, mumbling, but that's how you get some of the best melodies, and then afterwards you can go back and almost hear what your gibberish is saying to you.
Yeah.
Almost sometimes you find yourself having key words and then keying together a verse, and that might sound crazy, but most of you out there probably do the same thing.
Well, that's what we've done with this actually, because Marcus was singing a lot of like we sung a load of things and had some really cool strong melodies, and it sounded good out in the room, but when we recorded it on the mic, it was like, nah, it didn't sound. And sometimes you kind of have to you have to go through that process and record it, and then, you know, I recommend doing that. Like, if you've got a good vibe, like, get it down quickly on the mic to see how it sounds first, because if you spend all that time kind of right into that because it sounds good, and then you find when it gets on the track you kind of wasted time. So for us, we did do that actually. No, but remember, we sung the lyrics. We had a melody and we wrote a whole song to that melody, and then when we sung it on the, it was like the shag, yeah.
I wonder if you still got that.
No, I think it's gone self-destructed. But yeah, so then we were like, let's just try something else. So Marcus, just got on the mic and it was just like, and I think you said to him, like, just relax and just vibe it out, you know, like just be like, just, because he started doing this thing and it was like that right there, wasn't it? And he was like, really? And it was like, no, yeah, sing like that, because he was singing in a way that his fans and people like that, it didn't really sound like him, but it had the kind of laziness and the kind of energy and
character and attitude was on point.
Yeah.
Just sounded real cool.
it was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we came up with the lyrics and then he laid it down. And the thing is as well with the process of writing the songs for us, for this song, is for Marcus. He was kind of known, he was in a band called Pretty Ricky. They had like songs called like Grind on Me and things like that. And like he's known for being a bit of a gayalist, you know, as they say. Will you be annoyed at me saying that? But we wanted to kind of get another perspective on, you know, not being like, oh, I'm a super sweet guy, because that's not the vibe at all. But more like, yeah,
I'm in a different headspace now.
Yeah,
You know, I can't keep doing the same things I've been doing forever.
exactly.
I'm thinking differently. So we wanted to write a song which wasn't real to him. So where have you been to where do you want to go, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Could You Love Me was
Yeah,
lyrically what he would like.
definitely. Because for Marcus, like we're friends. Like, so how we met Marcus is like we moved in next door to him, and you know, and he's I'm telling his story. But anyway, Marcus, it is what it is, mate. And he's a really cool guy, and obviously in that scene, in that kind of world out there, it's a lot like girls and this and pool parties and popping bottles, and there's a whole culture and a whole kind of. But for Marcus, he always, you know, although he enjoyed the elements, he was always looking for that someone, you know, to settle down with and to like that would accept him for the kind of past, but also, you know, love him in the right way. And I think with writing songs, for us, how we approach it is like, it's important that comes from the artist, and because when they sing, and when they write, they really connect with it, and they deliver that. And I think Marcus, you know, we kind of dug deep, and then he got.
It's his story.
Yes, his story, exactly.
Yeah, we pulled it out.
Yeah, and I think people can hear that, and that's what the song is, the key, man. The song, it's really all this is great, but for us, it's like really making the song great, and then, you know, and then fitting everything around it. So yeah, so he recorded on. Yeah, at the time, I normally have a Neumann, a TLM17R that I've had for when I, you know, it's a really nice, what I used to think it was a really, really nice mic. It is, but when I went to some of my other friends' recording studios in London, they had the Valve mics and like the Sony C800Gs and things like that, and they just really had a great sound to them because they were tube mics. And I really, of those mics, I really liked the AKG C12, because a lot of the old school R&B tunes like Luther Vandross and people like that, it was all recorded on that Carpenters, and it just had a sonic to it that I loved, but it's an expensive mic, you know. So I dug around and found this company called Peluso. And they make great mics, and they sound, you know, as good as the original mics. And I obviously saw that they had the C12 version, and they have the Peluso P12, and it sounds great. And I was really excited to get Marcus's voice on that because he's got a really classic R&B tone. So we hooked that up. My mic pre is a Quartet Pendulum Audio. Again, brilliant preamp. The de-esser on here is so like, with de-essers I always find they're tricky with plug-in de-essers on in Logic or in Waves. It's always a little bit tricky, but with this, it's you just have one setting, and you know, you mess around with it a little bit, but really and truly it's just so subtle, and so it's the best de-esser I've ever heard. Let's say that. You know, that on its own could be its own unit. And and yeah, it's got equalizer, compressors, mic pre, and it's all valve, and it sounds great. So that's the geeky part. Yeah, so we got Marcus on there, and yeah, this is what his vocal sounds like. Let's see what it sounds like dry.
Same now,
Okay.
same now. Yeah, it's time to change up. I had a reputation,
That's got nothing on it.
so I had to step my game up. Faithful,
Okay.
game up. Wanna be faithful.
So I mean, it sounded great just on its own, but really wanted to give it like, so because there's space in the track, there's like the kick and the snare, and it's so sparse in those verses. Wanted to really give it that kind of airiness and that kind of like, you know, big feel coming from the vocal. And I used to listen a lot to there's an album called Voodoo by D'Angelo, and you know, it came out like in 2000, and there's an engineer on there called Russell Elevado, and he the vocals used to get his vocals like right there in your face, and that always stuck with me. I used to love that sound and really try and, obviously they've got all the bells and whistles for that, but I was always trying to get that I like that kind of in your face sound, and with this I was trying to do a little thing with the in the face sound with this on a kind of house track. So I used on there the Renaissance R compressor. I use that basically for everything. I don't really mess around with any other compressor, yeah, just normally keep this like more central, but I don't know what I'm doing there. So
Same now.
it's just got a color to it, this Renaissance compressor, that I like. Again, you know, technically a lot of the time it's like, okay, what did you do to get that? But for me, it's just like, move it here until it feels like it sounds right. And yeah, the Renaissance has a color, and I recommend this compressor. It's lovely.
Same now. Yeah, it's time to change up.
What have I got on there? Again, the Pultec EQ.
Same now. Same now. Yeah, it's time to change up.
And I just took a lot of the low end. I'll just click this to 60 hertz and attenuate the low end to like 4 normally, and I'll boost the top end. I mean, when it gets mixed down, when they mix this down, they might not have done this, you know, well, they probably wouldn't have done this the same way, but yeah, I like kind of the detail at the top end of the vocal. I kind of like that sound. Got a limiter on there.
Same now. Yeah, it's time to change up.
What's this little altar boy? Why is that on there?
Same now.
No, that wasn't on. Okay, so I've got an echo on there again.
Same now.
No, that's not right.
Same now. Yeah, it's time to change up.
So there's 8. I think I'll probably put 2 delay echoes on here from what I remember. So got
Same now.
8th note delay.
Same now.
Okay. And so to give it that wideness, I've used the micro shift again, Sound Toys. Really, really cool, man, for giving your vocals that kind of width, and it just had a real nice sound to it. And I think, yeah, this is Echo Boy delay. What is this? These are quarter notes delay. I like to do that, mix the delays. It might not be a conventional thing, I don't know, but I kind of use, for this I've used a quarter note delay from Logic. Sorry, an 8th note delay from Logic and a quarter note delay from Sound Toys. This plugin, Echo Boy, which is really, really cool. And it sounds like this now.
Same now. Yeah, it's time to change up. Had a reputation,
There you go.
So I had to step my game up.
So it's just got a little bit of a.
Wanna be faithful. Wanna call you my angel.
And I think I've got this LFO tool, which is really, really helpful, quick side chaining little plug-in. You know, rather than routing all your kicks and to a bus and all that, you can just click this on, and it's got a preset that kind of automate, like, does it all for you basically. So it gives that effect with it, you having to do all that routing. So I think I've got that on the lead vocal bus as well. So it sounds like this.
Sing now. Things ain't the same now. Yeah, it's time to change up. Had a reputation, so I had to step my game up. Wanna be faithful. Wanna call you my angel. Things ain't the same now. Nah, things ain't the same.
I don't know what happened to the last word there. No, it's here. It's on the other. It's here.
Same now.
There you go. So yeah, that's it.
That was Could You Love Me? Thank you for watching. You can check us out on @WeAreBlackSaint across Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. And look out for our new single coming soon.